Many hundreds of years before Jesus was the book of the prophet Isaiah written. And throughout it is woven a theme. The servant of God, the Messiah, the one who is still to come, is not going to come in a worldly way. His kingdom will not be of this world. But he will also be a suffering Messiah, a suffering servant. In today's passage from the fourth servant song of the book of Isaiah says, "My servant will justify many because of the sins, the wounds that he takes upon himself." And that prophecy is, of course, then realized many, many years later in Jesus himself. If you remember a couple of Sundays ago, Jesus and his disciples were going to Caesarea Philippi, and he asked that question, "Who do people say that I am?" And hearing that answer, he then said, "But who do you say that I am?" And we say that Peter got it right when he said, "You are the Christ of God." But then Jesus begins to explain to Peter and the others what that actually means. That the Son of Man will suffer. The Son of Man will die. The Son of Man will be raised again. And remember, Peter remonstrates with Jesus. And Jesus says to him those immortal words, "Get thee behind me, Satan. The way you're thinking is not the way of God, but the way of man." So at one point, Peter knows who Jesus is, and yet in another sense, he doesn't know who Jesus is. In today's gospel, Jesus is continuing this teaching about what it is to serve, what it is to be a true disciple. James and John come to Jesus and make this request of him. "We want to sit one at your right and the other at your left in your kingdom." This story appears in all four Gospels. Except in the other three, it is the mother of James and John that comes and asks the question of Jesus. But Jesus says to them, "Okay, can you drink the cup that I'm about to drink?" And they say, "We can." Because they still think that that cup is a cup of ordinariness rather than extraordinariness. They think it's going to be an easy drinking, maybe of a sweetness, instead of a cup of suffering. And whilst they say, "Yes, we can," of course, we know that when the time comes, Jesus has to drink that cup by himself in the Garden of Gethsemane. But he knows how difficult that moment is. And he prays 3 times, "Father, if it be possible, take this cup away. Take this cup away. Take this cup away." but then the total submission to the will of his Father. Not my will, but your will be done. Jesus invites us to drink of that cup every day. We hope that some days it is not bitter and terrible to drink. We hope that it is sweet and pleasant to drink. But we have to drink that cup because that is what God invites us to do. And when the others hear about James and John and what they want, of course, then Jesus says, those seats are not mine to give. They belong to the Father. They become indignant with James and John, and Jesus says, guys, let me tell you again. The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as an example for many. So the challenge again that Jesus puts before us, which we don't always want to hear, which we find difficult to accept, which is painful to put into practice in our lives. This is how you become great. Let go of what you want. Let go of what you desire and embrace the will of God. What is God asking of you and me today? What is God asking us to let go of in our lives? What is holding us back? And we think that if we give up, then we are somehow going to lose something. Just excuse me. We're going to lose something. And I want to keep and protect whatever it is that I have. Because I don't know how to give it away. I don't know how to give it over to God. And maybe there's a part in all of us that says, I really don't want to give it over to God. Because I still don't understand what it means to lose so as to become great. Make sense? I still can't work that out in my life. And that's why it's a continuum. That's why every day the cup is given to us to drink, so that we can make a difference in the world. We can make a difference, first of all, in our own lives, and then in the lives of our sisters and brothers. Now, God is not going to take from you, but God will receive from you. And if you and I just want to be miserly, and just keep everything close, not let anything go, not offer to God, then that's okay. That's what God says. It's okay. Maybe this isn't your time, But when the time is right and you feel that you can trust me, then I will still be here. And I will always be here. And I will show you. Drink the cup. Lay down your life. And become great in the sight of God.